Would you guys want to start your own sports cards and collectibles business and sell these things for more than $2 grand a pop while making more than $80,000 a month? Jimmy and Stacy did just that, and today they're going to share with you guys how you can do it also. On this episode, Jimmy and Stacy will share how the idea of providing a healthy and positive sports card environment to his collecting community has enabled him to reach $100,000 within the first year they launched. Now, they've so far scaled their business by taking it online and are projected to hit more than $750,000 this year, you guys. Do you guys spend any money on advertising?
No.
We've had banger days where we've done $10,000. Stacy right now is live on Instagram, and we just kind of hang out on Instagram until people are ready to buy some stuff. We had a video go viral with over 900,000 views. Not many people do that.
We'll also explore how he was able to beat the pandemic and what kind of skills and experience you guys need to successfully sell sports cards and collectibles. What's the oldest card you got here, Jimmy?
Oldest, 1949. A shop like this could easily go for a couple mil.
You guys stick around because Jimmy and Stacy will share an incredible hack that will help you guys be super successful in this business. All right, without further ado, you guys make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate you a ton. Let's go talk to Jimmy and Stacy. Hello, you guys. I'm Paul. Good to meet you. Jimmy, Stacy.
Thanks for coming.
We look forward to sharing your story. How did you get started, and how did you get into the sports cards business?
Probably about 7 years ago, I helped run a shop here in Bellingham. So I got a chance to learn like the insides of running a sports card shop. He was set to retire, and we knew that the collecting community deserved a shop, someplace where we can everybody get together, fellowship, those kind of things. It's very important for this business. So that's kind of why we started it.
And what was the time? When did you start it?
We had our doors open October 5th of 2019.
You guys, we want to give you an up-close view of the entire shop. What's unique about it, what's special, what makes it stand out from all the other competitors. So let's go check it out. Jimmy, give us a tour.
Come on in.
Jimmy, what do we got here? This is where everything happens?
Yep, this is why people come through the door primarily. They want to see what the latest releases are. So this is what drives us on Instagram, drives us on TikTok, drives our in-store customers, is everything you see here. There's such a variety of product. It caters to every type of collector, from kids to adults. If you're a rookie fan, a Hall of Famer fan, you just want the autographs, you don't want all the fluff, there's product for everybody. So,
and you either do box or pack, I see,
box or pack. We pride ourselves on being a pack-heavy shop, because shops don't do that.
Why don't they do it? Might get more work, more processing?
Because, you know, it takes more time to sell it by the pack than by the box, right? But the problem is packs are more economical, especially for the younger generation. So one of the things that we decided to do is be pack heavy when we opened up the shop. So
can I see a couple, please?
Yep.
You've got a $60 pack here, you guys, right?
Yep.
How many cards in here? 18 cards.
And every pack contains one autograph card.
Or you buy a box for $350.
Yeah.
So why would I mean, what do I stand to win if I buy a box?
You were holding the Trevor Lawrence card that came out of this product that was $2,000. So those are kind of the things that you stand to win. You know, the nice thing is that was one card. You have another 5 autographs that are coming out of this on top of that one. So plus all the other cards.
What was your initial budget? What was the most expensive thing in terms of starting it out? I mean, can you start from home?
You can. Yeah, you can do this business from home, and a lot of people do. For us, our biggest expense was product. We needed packs and boxes on the shelves for people to buy. When we opened the doors, we didn't have much of it, and we only had about $5,000 in our bank account. We had yet to pay any of our bills.
Wow.
So it was a grind, but we did it.
So $5 grand budget.
Yep.
And your first month expenses. I mean, give us a little snippet of what you spent on cards, the product, and...
So it cost us about $10,000 total to put display cases and everything in the shop.
This location here?
Correct.
Okay.
Demoing out everything, you had to pay those guys to do it because this was a postal store before. So you're looking at, yeah, it was 10 grand and 5,000 in our bank account. That's it.
Let's talk about how you value the memorabilia, the cards, and how you set a buying, selling price.
So the industry had a shift during the heyday of sports cards. Beckett was the ultimate determination of a card price or a piece of memorabilia.
Are they like an organization or something?
They are. They're a company that started where they would figure out what the value of the card is, and they would publish their books that people could look. And as a kid, especially when we were kids, we could get the Beckett book and see, oh, this Joe Montana card is worth this.
Okay.
It's kind of shifted now to eBay is the primary source of what single cards are valued at. There's a few websites that we use that will pull up sold listings on cards and memorabilia.
What would they be? Can you
130point.com is what we use quite a bit.
It's for you guys?
It goes directly to sold listings for eBay. eBay makes it difficult to see sold listings, so when you do a search, it'll pull up what people are asking for, not what they've sold for. That seems to be a misconception in this industry. You have to get to the sold to know the real value, the current value.
Right.
And it's on a moment-by-moment basis.
You mentioned something off camera. Can you mention that again in terms of how cards can vary in price 1 minute to the next hour?
It's like what? Super crazy, but you know, you can watch a baseball game and use an example. The one I was using with you is Manny Machado was up to bat, and if he hits a home run and you go and hey, he has a super great game. The next day, you'll see a lot of his cards go up in value.
That's crazy.
You know, and and
if he sucks,
but if he could strike out 4 times. People are going to dump his stuff. You know, it's crazy, but a lot of it is on a moment-by-moment basis. So,
how important are like real relationships in this business? Because I'm seeing this thread of like community, fellowship, come hang out.
It is absolutely vital. Integrity is everything in this business. People buy from you because they trust you.
They trust you on the valuation.
When they come in, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, good, bad. I found that, you know, local collectors, they appreciate that kind of interaction.
I mean, they know you're making money pretty seriously.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, there's no secret. You know, all the guys have seen the shop grow. You know, we've reinvested into our business, but you've got to be honest with what I call my people.
Okay.
Our customers. So
I love it. You guys stick around for the end of the video because Jimmy and Stacy will share an incredible hack that will help you guys be super successful in this business. Do you guys spend any money on advertising anywhere else?
No.
Zero.
Other than the AquaSox sponsorship is considered advertising money, we don't spend any money on social media advertising or advertising
newspapers or anything.
The community.
Yeah. Good for you guys. It's the relationships and the culture you've created.
Absolutely.
Touch on culture again. You look at the big box stores. You mentioned Walmart, you know, Nordstrom, all this. Seems like culture's lost in a way. How important is culture within these brick-and-mortar stores for the sports industry?
I think it translates to not just sports cards and memorabilia shops, but any small business. People coming through the door are not numbers. You know, they are people. And people want personal relationships, you know, and those things are important. I mentioned earlier, know your customers' names, know their kids' names, get to know their buying habits, the stuff they like, what they don't like. I mean, if you don't do that, you're doing a real disservice to the success of your business, I think.
You guys, let's talk about the seasonality of this business. One's super busy, one's super slow. How do you adjust? And then what's a good day, bad day in terms of sales? I know it's a loaded question.
So I think seasonal-wise, there isn't really. If you have an online component and you get slow inside the shop, it's very easy to get busy again when you go live on Instagram or
turn that faucet on.
Right, exactly. So our busiest times in shop are usually January and February. Because people get their tax returns and all kinds of crazy stuff happening. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The stimulus was really good.
Stimulus, yeah.
That help you guys?
Yeah.
Stacey, what's a good day, bad day in terms of sales then for you guys? What would you say, like, oh man, this day we just paid
Between
costs?
Instagram, website, eBay, and in-store shoppers, you know, our kind of an average day is in that $1,000 to $2,000 range.
Wow.
In store. It all kind of goes in the same pot between all the faucets. If it's really slow and it's a quiet day, we can turn on to Instagram and make our day.
So a good day would be a couple grand?
A good day would be in that 3,000.
Okay.
We've had banger days where we've done $10,000. That's happened a couple different times.
When you pop the champagne bottle going home?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely are eating a steak dinner that night, you know, so.
And then when did the top ramen nights show up?
When the $500 day hits and people are off doing other things on Instagram and everything. So yeah, that does happen from time to time. So.
But on those slow days, then we can just post more cards and focus more on different aspects of the business.
In terms of an e-commerce platform, what's been really productive, efficient? What do you love using and that's helping your business grow?
I think, I mean, we talked about Instagram, obviously, but our website on Shopify,
posting, so you guys do Shopify?
Yeah, posting our single cards, it's gotten a lot of attention because it's not done very often. We have over 4,000 single cards on our website. I think that was not only doing business, but it was an advertising mechanism. People were rumor like, hey, they're doing single cards, go take a look, and we get a lot of traffic.
Talk to us real briefly about, because I'm not familiar with it at all, why single card is a world changer, game changer, a new thing. Why isn't everyone else doing it? Because
it's a lot of work. Okay. You know, you have to take pictures constantly. You have to find the right title for cards. I mean, there's so many variants of cards. It's like, what is this opposed to this? And you got to kind of know what you're doing. It's very time consuming. I spend most of my time here doing that, but you can't be afraid of the work. The grind is the meat and potatoes of this business, and I love it.
And your numbers speak for it. I'm sure that's hugely to do with that, right?
Yep.
Talk about revenue, right? Or profit margins. Is that even a right question to ask for this industry because of how things vary so much? If I can, what is it then?
It's hard because it varies on a moment-by-moment basis, you know? So if somebody were to want you to determine what your exact profit percentage is, it's almost an impossible number to figure.
Yeah, you just look at the year-to-date, basically.
I mean, our boxes that we buy change in price from day to day.
Even from the distributor?
From the distributor, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
you have to deal with the price fluctuations just like everybody
else. Correct.
And the customer.
Your biggest profit margin that you earn is the initial release. So if a distributor gives you 10 boxes on release day, you're paying really good prices, and that's your biggest profit margin. Once those 10 are gone and you have to reorder those, then they go, okay, well, you bought those for 100 a piece, but we're now going to charge you 250. And you have to kind of battle through that. But that's the model today.
What an interesting industry.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, show us around the shop. Let's maybe start with this. You've got...
Sure. One of the most important things in a card shop is you've got to have discounted cards. So over here we have cards that are range anywhere from 50 cents, 25 cents up to about $4.
Okay.
Everything is separated by team. You got to be fairly organized, you know, make it easy for customers who come into the shop to be able to sort through.
Yeah.
So that's this is one of the most popular areas of the shop.
Really? Just because it's like the cheapest discounted stuff?
You can still get some pretty good stuff, really good names for discounted prices. Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us what we see here.
So what's important is you want to have local sports, right? We're very big with Seattle Mariners, Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
Unfortunately, the Seahawks are super popular, and so it's hard to get refills of cards of Seahawks. Nobody wants to give them up for a decent price. But here we decide to put local sports up front. Everything you see is Seattle based.
Gotcha.
Everett AquaSox stuff, Seattle Mariners, you know, prospects, Hall of Famers, current players, you name it.
Nice.
Austin Shenton, for instance, in the case, he's from Bellingham. He's in AA ball right now, but he's from Bellingham and people want to come to see his stuff.
Jimmy, walk us through exactly what you do on Instagram for your followers.
So on the back desk, what we do is we set up a camera. Usually it's my phone. Okay. And we have a menu similar to this. It is what we provide, everything by the pack and by the box.
Gotcha, you got the pricing on there.
Yep. When we go live, most of the time they know we're going live to sell some product.
Okay.
And so they'll come on and say, hey, I want to see what you have for football. We'll send the football menu over. They'll say, hey, I want this pack, this pack, this pack. They send the payment via PayPal or Venmo.
Okay.
We rip it to them on camera, and then once a week we ship out everything that people rip with us.
What do you mean rip?
Opening.
Rip, okay.
That's a slang industry term for...
I was going to say something means...
It's like wax, right? There's no wax. We're ripping packs, but it sounds a little bit more violent than it really is. So, and that's what we do. Now, one of the things that's important is we ship for free. Not many people do that.
And so they're chatting with you via Instagram while you're live and say, hey, Jimmy, I need this, and that based on the menu?
And then what we do is if
really cool.
They're wanting packs of a certain type of card, we'll put the box with the packs in front of them. One of the things that we are obsessed about is letting them pick their packs. So if we have 5 packs in it, we'll say there's 1 through 5, and they want 3 of them, give me 3 numbers 1 through 5, and they'll actually get to pick their packs.
Gotcha. And we'll show you guys that with the walk around and tour of the entire shop a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. How important is a location for people looking to start a sports cards business? You know, talk to us the importance on that and why you did this versus starting out of your garage, for example.
I started my business in sports cards online at home.
Okay.
I did that for several years. Location is vital. You have to be able to be close to freeways because people want convenience of getting off and getting on.
Right.
You have to have decent parking. The shop I ran before, it was a very touristy town, and so parking was difficult, and so we didn't see a lot of collectors. And I knew that central location and parking was vital to getting people through the door.
What did you do to your shop to transform the culture as compared to maybe other competitors?
So most of the shops that I've been in here, especially here in the state of Washington, it wasn't designed for the collector. You have to have them in mind in order to provide a good place for them. The center table in the shop was vital for that. No shops do that hardly around here. So we knew that was going to be a focal point because it's much easier to look at this stuff in your home. We built this for the local collectors. So
the idea is to come in and just really hang out here.
Yep.
Like you said, fellowship and check out whatever you want to check out.
Happens all the time. Sports on TV. We sit around and talk about the new things and maybe rip some cards. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The next case I think is important is you want to get it sport by sport. Mm-hmm. This is football. This is current football.
Everything in here is football.
Everything is football,
gotcha.
And it's current players. Anywhere from recent draft picks to, Tom Brady, who's been in the league 99 years. Which
you got a Brady card?
We have a couple. I got a Brady rookie floating around in here.
Okay.
And then basketball. Now, unfortunately for us, basketball is not a real big item in our shop. So we have to kind of divide this up.
Gotcha.
So we have basketball, we have Star Wars, and we have hockey in this case.
Okay. Before we go on to the next case, you mentioned something about your shop that's different and stands out from others. What would you highlight on that?
Light it up. The biggest, people want to see what you have. You know, so many shops, their lighting isn't very good. It's very dusty, dank, it looks like a basement. We're very big on lighting the cases, making sure everything's clean, well organized. That's the biggest thing.
Very well.
You don't want to have a stack of stuff and not know what's in it.
Makes sense.
Every card in here is sorted, so nothing is just put in a box and thrown aside. So
that's where the 80 hours a day comes in, right?
It does. A week. You have to put that kind of work in. So.
Okay. Jimmy, let's talk about your marketing strategy for the business as a whole, for Turf and Dirt, and then if there's a difference between your website and then brick and mortar. How are you marketing here versus online, etc.?
Well, it's all tied into one. Social media is vital. The one thing we've kind of had to learn on the fly is TikTok has become huge, right? And so you have to post on social media constantly.
Okay.
But you got to be creative in what you're posting. If you go on social media today and you look at card posts, everybody's just posting cards, That gets to be redundant after a while, right? So you got to come up with new and inventive ways for people to go, oh, I like how they think. I like what they're doing. I like their content. So, and don't be afraid to produce content.
Give us an example on how you're using TikTok, exactly what's going on there, and maybe Instagram, you mentioned that as well.
So Instagram for us was, you know, all of our pack and box sales moved to there when we were shut down. And with the country shut down, you know, casinos, everything else, people are looking for entertainment. They found us and we were able to provide that. TikTok, you know, is interesting because you don't ever know what's going to be popular, what's going to go. We had a video go viral with over 900,000 views, and it was just unboxing memorabilia, and it's reading the trivia, you know, because they'll come with facts in the box, and I'll turn it into a trivia contest. And
interesting, okay.
And that catches fire. So we're still learning that platform some, but I think social media is just vital in the whole program of a shop.
Where do you get the memorabilia that you sell? And then the second part of that question, you know, about how much of this comes from individual sellers and then people in the same business. Where else do we source this stuff?
So there's two segments of how we get our stuff. Individuals will come in with single cards, and